Hello again. Today I want to talk about the fact that it's increasingly clear that our instructional programs are about to go through some fundamental structural changes that'll be very unsettling to many of us in education. And the reason I say that is there are two sets of external pressures leading to people to conclude that we need to rethink how we are organizing and delivering instruction in our schools. In public education throughout the United States, ever since 2002, we have been deeply influenced by No Child Left Behind and the whole standards movement, and on top of that, then the assessment of those standards. And in 2002, with No Child Left Behind, we came up with this term, college and career ready. But the reality of it is it played out as college ready. Now, once you get past mid-elementary school, those state assessments and those state standards became very, very focused on content. And so content that could be measured by a state assessment drove our system. Schools were evaluated on it, kids were evaluated, teachers were evaluated. But now as we step back, there are some growing pressures throughout the country being pushed primarily by the business community, but also by political leaders and parents. And that pressure is this. Number one, employers can't find workers. And then they look around and say, our recent college graduates don't seem to have the skills, knowledge, and attributes that we increasingly need in a workplace being transformed by technology in general and AI specifically. And then they look at how well are we doing in college? And what we find nationwide is for those students who enter a four-year university, after 6 years, only 43% of them are graduating. But what is more disturbing is when you disaggregate the data, it's apparent that for those students who graduated whose families qualified for free and reduced lunch, their graduation rates after 6 years is only 13%. And on top of that, even more troubling is of those who do graduate, the data is showing only 41% are working in jobs that required any higher education. So employers are saying, whoa, wait a minute, there's a mismatch here, something wrong. And parents are saying, and the cost is out of sight. So the effectiveness of the colleges are being called into question. The costs are being called into question. And then finally, today's kids growing up in the screen-based environment, they expect everything immediately, and they're not hanging in. They're not willing to hang in for the long haul. So there's this real push from the focus on a degree-based education system to more of a skill-based education system. And in a future posting, I'm going to talk about what are those skills, but more importantly, how do we organize our instructional program to move content from being the objective to being the enabling objective and skills becoming the objective, because that is the fundamental transformation I see occurring. Not a de-emphasis of content, but moving them to the enabling objective side of our focus, with skills being the focus. So I hope this gives you something to think about a little bit. And I look forward to sharing some additional information with you in future podcasts. Thanks.